take my screen off, so just put a face to the voice here. So I'll turn my camera off so we can just go in and see my screen there. So there we go. So Facebook for Business. Now, always at this, with these type of things, we can all be at varying levels with our Facebook activity. Now, for some of you, you might be coming in at a little bit more advanced level. Some of you might be coming in at very, at a novice, I would call, or beginner, a level where you haven't quite, you may have set up a page but haven't quite gotten into the groove of managing your Facebook page. So I'm going to go in more, I'll come in from the beginning. I'll give you some stats to support your Facebook marketing activity, and then we can certainly see from there how you can, the different features, some things that you may be aware of, some things that you may, that you may not, or may have certainly just looked at, not have kind of forgotten about. So I will just keep checking in here, and I need to keep going back to my dashboard for questions, but at this point I will just keep on pushing forward, and I might just go back, save some question time at the end where I can go in and answer anything you may have. So I'll just power through and leave some time at the end. Okay, so starting with Facebook. So I guess something that I'd also love to hear from you, for those of you like Mim who've joined us now, we started with our webinar series. We looked at Introduction to Digital Marketing, so really looked at an bird's eye view of how social media and how things like Facebook really need to and must integrate within an overarching digital strategy for your business that complements everything that you do on and offline. So certainly if any of you have anything to share since the last time we got together, that would be great to hear in this forum that we can share. So we looked at an introduction to digital marketing, and I shared some content with you on the last webinar, which was a few weeks ago now, on tools, tips and tricks, just some strategies around things like how to effectively use your hashtags and various different tools and tips. I would love to hear from you, and certainly so will the team at Murray Regional Tourism. So if there's anything that you're taking away from these training and you're implementing, which I would highly, highly recommend with any type of training that you do, is to go and put it into practice, particularly within the first 7 days of ingesting the information. So I would certainly be encouraging you to put it into action. And if you have and gotten some results, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to scream your business from the rooftops as well. So please share with us, and please share in the comments or in the chat. So what we will specifically cover today in the hour that we have together, the benefits of Facebook, what Facebook likes from businesses in particular, starting with the plan. So a really simple, clear, one-pager way you can, one-pager that you can start activating right now, and how to make Facebook work for you. So again, I just want to go back in and housekeeping check. It's great to see some more of you join as we've come. So welcome there, Mel. I will just love, great to have you here. Okay, so that's what will be covered today. So let's go. In terms of demographics, the last time we spoke Facebook, which was not that, it was less than 12 months ago, it's grown again so significantly since the last time we spoke Facebook, and it keeps changing. There are so many new features to the Facebook platform for business, and it just keeps evolving, hence the keeps growing. So now we're up to 1.2 7 billion or plus, we're still billion. 50 million of these are composing of small business. So it's actually a really fantastic medium for the small tourism business. I've shared some demographics there around just the age and the gender demographic of who are the most active users on Facebook. Purpose of Facebook, absolutely building relationships. So Facebook is all about connectivity, connecting us to each other and creating no boundaries to what we can really achieve as a community, global community. It's best for, going back to that word, building community around your brand and absolutely building brand loyalty. So this is something that Facebook is great for us as businesses. The downside, there's absolutely no secret that the reach is getting lower and lower if we are not paying for the reach. So it is very much the monetization of Facebook has heavily come onto advertising, the advertising platform. I would encourage all of you to be considering a budget moving forward, particularly as we're coming into our busy season. And that also depends on the objective, like a key business objective. Next week, and this is great that we've got Facebook and Instagram consecutively flowing. So this Thursday, we're talking Facebook. Next Thursday, we're going to talk Instagram. I'm going to add a component of Facebook and Instagram advertising in next week's webinar, because I thought it's really critical that we understand the foundations of both platforms first, and then we go into some more advanced content. And look, and when I say Instagram, actually, my bad, Instagram content is Instagram is next is on the 8th of December, not next week. So we'll send you some more information on that. So, but regardless, it's great that we're doing Facebook first, and then we'll go into Instagram on the 8th of December, same time, 8 o'clock. So I want to make that note in your diary. We're not going to cover advertising today. We will cover it on the 8th of December when we've done Instagram as well, because something, for those of you that may not know, Instagram is very much, it was acquired by Facebook, and the advertising component on Instagram is done through the Facebook Ads Manager, for those of you that didn't know. But there are some significant differences between advertising on Facebook and the way we advertise on Instagram, which I'll go with you. So 8th of December. Okay, I've got some more stats in there, just really highlighting the growth and just how much activity is actually happening from a community. And we always have to remember as businesses that we're intercepting on people's downtime, on people's leisure time. People are going there more and more. I mean, they're going there to keep in the loop with their friends, with their family, with their loved ones. They are also more and more stats are supporting that they are going there to connect with brands. And, consumers, I know myself included, can be annoyed that a page and a business that we've liked doesn't necessarily, we don't see their updates unless we are actively going in and checking those pages. But what we can attribute to that is that we are also making sure that we can, making sure that we're consistent. Consistency is the key. And we go back to whether it's through paid advertising, but also through educating our customers, even if it could be that they ask to receive notifications for when we post our content. Okay, so there are some few little things there that we can do, but the prime, I guess, thing to note with organically reaching our audience is through the type of content and the consistency of content that we're creating. Because something we need to really, really be mindful of is that Facebook really wants us to really gives value to 4 types of activity as they measure what we're doing is resonating with our audience. And the way they actually attribute engagement is through 4 key things: whether a post or our content is receiving a like, a comment, a click, or a share. Okay, so if we go through, and I'll just go back in and I just like to check in. Sometimes it just doesn't pop up if I've had any questions or comments, and I just want to check in if anyone, we're all good. Okay, so let's go back. Wonderful. So benefits. It attracts the right people to your business. We're building a community. It gives us an opportunity to regularly connect. Now, when I say regularly connect, we're talking about people that have either enjoyed our experiences, our destination, or people that are at the planting the seed stage and having a wish list. She gives us an opportunity to share the love of our community, give value, and authentically collaborate within our community. Something that's very, very important to note here is that you are the media. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. So when we're talking about the benefits to your business, this is the greatest benefit, that this is an opportunity for you to showcase your authenticity, for you to showcase your unique point of difference, for you to showcase your personality. Okay, so this is a really great medium for you to have some fun. Okay, something I always love to really remind businesses is that this is a real excellent way for you to get from one to many in your own unique way. Okay, I might go back to sharing my camera because I want to ensure that connecting with you. I don't know, is that better if you're actually seeing me? I'm not sure. You can give me some feedback. Do you like the camera on or off? Is the key there? I had someone note there, or does it make a difference? So if we go back here in terms of your connectivity and what we're talking about in the sense of you are the media, okay? So inspire, connect, empower your people to choose you, basically. We need to give them our big why as to why, not only just you, why the Murray, why this destination, okay? We'll explain that a little bit further. So what Facebook and our audience like. Facebook mission is to give people the power to share and make the world a more open and connected, okay? So it goes back to that connectivity and global community that they want to create. And in a sense, this is what we also want to share for our destination, okay? So don't tell me who you are, tell me why you matter to me. When we're creating content and when we're sitting there thinking, oh, what am I going to share today? We want to put that out there. Don't tell me, not tell me who you are. Why should we matter to the audiences that we've earned their like from, okay? Or we've earned that they've said, yep, I want to hear more from you. Why should we matter to them? And I love sharing this. We recently shared this at the Farm to Plate workshop that we did in Echuca a few weeks ago, and we talked about the golden circle. And for those of you that have not seen the Simon Sinek TED talk around starting with why, okay? We are very good especially on the mediums like Facebook, saying what we do, how we do it. Sometimes we can lose our or disconnect from our purpose and our why. This is the gold. This is the gold inner circle of what we always want to attribute to. This is why we get up in the morning, guys. Check out this sunset if you wanted to look at the likes of a live Facebook video. Okay, so why do we do what we do? Another level onto that is, yes, starting with why, but something I always like to highlight, particularly in the sense of social media, is starting with we. So when we say we want to think community, we want to think destination. So we want to think, start with who, we start with the Murray first, because someone that's coming to your business, they're not just coming to do one thing. They're not just coming to eat, drink, see, do, okay? They want to come and experience a destination. So we never want to neglect in our content and what we share why we exist and why we're so unique as a destination first. Okay, so tap into what Murray Regional Tourism are doing, and always, I mean, this is something that I have always done, and for those of you that may not know where I've come from, it is from, I've always worked in small business, and I've always seen myself as an extension of the marketing team at my regional tourism organisation. Because if we don't work, I don't work, okay? So I just wanted to highlight that point, that it's no different just as a business model, it's no different for our social media. People need to know where we are and what's special about us, and then we drill down to, and by the way, this is what makes, this is why we should matter to, as a business, as an individual. So things that Facebook and things our audience, I should be more specific, things our audience don't like. And we have to now put our hats on, our customer hats on, and say, okay, who says I love infomercials or businesses that talk, that are only be selling to us. So what our audiences don't like is me. Okay, so when businesses are always promoting, okay, without adding any value to their audience. So that sits in the don't corner. Uninspired content that's got no passion, no why, no purpose, no story, not sharing other stories, okay? So uninspired content, it's something that, you've got to think, is this something that would inspire my audience, whatever it is that you're about to post? Ignoring and not acknowledging comments, likes, shares and follows, okay? A cardinal sin in my book when I see businesses that visitors have come to your site and they've shared photos, they've shared a review, they've shared a comment on something that you've done, and businesses just blatantly ignoring. One, perhaps because they don't know that it's happened, that it's just gone filtered through the notifications and it's gone ignored. But certainly something that I always like to say, and excuse me if you've heard this before, but it needs to be said. If someone's given you a compliment or gone out of their way to do something for you, would you just ignore it, or would you find it acceptable that if you only just gave them your thumbs up? Okay, essentially, if we're just liking something that's happened like that, we're just going without expressing our gratitude for that, okay? So these things are important. Again, I mean, I say this is just a common courtesy thing, good practice to get into, but also remember, going back to what Facebook sees as engagement, not only as what is engaged from an audience into our business, but also how businesses are back, also engaged into back into their pages. and negativity. So being a positive force for good. So keeping things positive and keeping things light. So we have to always, you know, be very clear on, is this good for my, is this a business page, appropriate content, or is this probably more suitable on my personal page to my personal friends and family community if you're going to go on a rant? Okay, so some things we have to kind of really be distinct in that line. And again, this is something from experience where I had a client where if something was peeving him off, whether it was, you know, and he was quite into, you know, the current political situation, and he would go in and express his views on the business page. And I had to be very clear to say, this is a, you know, your name thing. Like, this is something that you would do on your personal place. Personal page, you know, and I had to coach him through just keeping things kind of keeping things on par with business and strategy and what our brand represents on the business page. So I think that makes things quite clear. So always remember being relevant, timely, consistent, and content. Okay, so being relevant, being timely, being consistent with your content is three critical things that we need to be really, really mindful of. Always, always, always remember that your content is everything. So everything your audience comes into contact with, it is pretty much what the sphere of what we're talking about. Now, where Facebook, and you can see here where Facebook comes into play, it's another vehicle at the end of the day within your broader, remember, your broader strategy of how we can drive traffic back into our website, and how we can drive conversation, engagement, and community growth away from our website. Okay, I had it perfectly explained to me once that your website is where the transaction lives. Your website is your digital brochure. Okay, your website is the property that you own. Remember, everything on the outer sphere of your website is rented space. Facebook is no different. So this is why it's important for us to really be clear on that and be clear on the purpose of why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, so when it comes to having a plan, we really want to identify our audience, we want to identify your goals, we want to identify your platforms, Facebook being a key platform, and what you want to look at when you're setting up a social media plan specifically for Facebook. That also goes into, I mean, we're talking social media plan, it also is going to go out into your other mediums, you know, Instagram being another one, 8th of December, remember. So when it comes to your social media strategy, and when it comes to identifying your audience, who are they? Now we see from 18 to like 65, predominantly female at the moment, is what our audience is looking like on as a Facebook demographic collectively. Now, as tourism businesses, this fits in really well. Okay, even with the more mature market, this is also something. The latest social media report, the Census social media report this year in 2016 said that the largest growing market in digital technology, more specifically iPhone, is the 55 plus, and that is also relevant for Facebook as well, so that's something we don't want to ignore. So who is your audience? Okay, who are they? What keeps them up at night? But more specifically, what do they want? Not what we want, what do they want? Okay, this is a really good brainstorming tool when, you know, as part of your homework, as going away from today, really have a think about what does my customer want, and why I specifically always use this question is to tap into, when it comes to creating your content, okay, whether it's a Facebook post, whether it's your next blog post, or whether it's the next email newsletter you're going to put together, the more you answer this question, the more you come up with the content that is going to really resonate with your audience. I don't know if you've read things that you know, in whatever hobby or interest that you have, when you've read something that you feel like they're speaking to you personally, like, that's exactly how I feel, okay? So this is just businesses and marketers doing their homework and tapping into our brain trust of what keeps us up at night, what problems they're solving for us. And I want you to do the same for you. It's no different when it comes to your social media content. Defining your goals is pretty much you getting very, very clear on what the heck do I want here with my Facebook page, okay? What do you want in the short term? Okay, we've got a few weeks to go until the end of 2016. Are you defining some goals around maybe your community? How many community being? How many people are liking your page? Is what I want the traffic to my website to increase? Well, if I want to increase the traffic to my website by 10%, okay, if I want to increase my website, increase my traffic to my website, this last month I had 50 referrals. Moving forward, I want to have an average of 150, okay? Let's set the goals and then work backwards from there. And this is another thing that I see, guys, that a lot of businesses are not really tapping into. This is a vehicle to drive traffic back to your website. If we want to use that to our advantage, are we adding in links back to our website in our social media content? Is that part of the plan? And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So what do you specifically want? And name 3 things that you want to get out of your Facebook activity, okay? Within the next month, within the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, okay? Get really clear. What does that look like? Personally, I do things monthly, and that fits into my quarterly goals, and then I've got my yearly goals, okay? So I've you know, something with my Facebook specifically, reaching the 5,000 milestone as a community was my goal for this quarter, okay, before the end of the year. And it feels really good, even as a business owner, as a marketer, when you set yourself some milestones like that and you achieve them, okay? That you can actually, rather than feel like we're just treading that wheel like mice, that we can measure, we've got some metrics to measure. Setting it up, really, really important. Some of us are very small teams. We don't have the budget or the manpower to outsource or be solely focused on Facebook 24/7 to market our business. So get really, really clear. Who's going to manage this? How many times, times a day or a week will you be posting? What type of content will you share? How will you engage? A really important one. Remember, going back to my point earlier, that many businesses are not actively going in there and engaging, not only to answer questions and reply to comments or shares on their page, but also how will you engage within your community, within the other, with Murray Regional Tourism. They have your audience, within other complementing businesses that you work within the region, okay? How will you engage means how are you actively going out and saying, okay, what other Facebook pages are within our community that I can go like as my business? What are the pages, and of those pages, what are the top 10 I always want to be commenting, liking and sharing as my business as well? Givers gain. How will I give some love back to the businesses? Or, how will I kind of get social with other businesses and lead the way here? Because every time you do that for a business, it's twofold. You're not only putting yourself in front of your business, in front of their audience, you're also creating an opportunity to build rapport and further enhance your industry relationships. Okay, so these are some good questions for you to ask. Because here's the thing as well. You might go through this after our time together today. You've seen the stats. Yes, it's still very highly active. It's, it's great for my business. But you might come away from this and really say, okay, I found its importance. I'm not going to be the person to do this. I know I have to do it. I know my what. I know my how. I know why it's important for my business. But I also know that it's not going to be me. And maybe the budget that you have is to outsource it to someone that specializes. Well, it doesn't even have to be a specialist. There's plenty of people out there that can help manage your social media pages for you if you find that it's just something you can't maintain. But I say that with the caveat that there's no better way to engage with your community than for it to be from the passionate business owner or marketer or your staff. But if that's a challenge for you, then 80% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Okay, let's do something about it, or put it on your radar moving forward. So the question, I never know what to post. I've given you here a stack of ideas that you can look at or consider as different themes for different days, okay? Your products and services, packages, new collaborations, special deals, gift vouchers that you might be offering coming up to Christmas, okay? Location specific, about exactly where you are and where you sit in the bigger picture of the Murray region. Okay, so specifically being an ambassador for your patch. Other local business posts, sharing things about your story, any interesting blogs or that you've written, or things that are written from others that your audience might find interesting. Industry insights, what's happening within the wider community of Murray. Customer success stories, so your testimonials, are we sharing them? Okay, and there's many different ways you can share a testimonial, even if it's for a TripAdvisor. Make that into a picture post, with your testimonial overlaid over a beautiful photo. There are many different ways to repurpose something or to recreate something that already exists. Seasonal content, okay, so seasonal, whether it is for summer, the summer that, look at me, in spring, it's nearly summer, I'm here freezing today, but, so it's posts around the different seasons, special events or special occasions. Your blog, I think every business should be blogging. There are so many benefits to blogs. Having something, one of the primary reasons I put this here specifically for social media is, again, you have a new way, new content, something new and shiny to drive traffic back to your website. Okay, so there's just some ideas. Events is another one. There's nothing to stop us from creating our own event and using the event feature within Facebook to be able to do that. So bringing all of this together, what I highly recommend is theming your days. So to ensure that you are at minimum, so if you're going to just make a decision after today that out of 3 days of the week, out of 7 days of the week, I'm going to post 3. So for example, you're going to decide I'm going to post on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. I want one of those posts every week to always include something that's going to drive traffic back to your website, okay? If it's going to be 7 days a week, I want at least 2 to 3 times you're posting something back to your website. But that can get pretty boring if it's just to your homepage. That can be pretty boring if it's just to your, book now page. And this is where we talk about being interesting, inspiring, educating, empowering, being relevant and being timely. This is where creating new content around a blog post is really, really important and can add value there. Okay, so how to make Facebook work for you. You know your business. I mean, with Facebook, basically, the solution, the way they see it, and this comes straight from Facebook, is really that they say to marketers and to businesses, you know your business. They claim that, okay, we know people. So they're saying we act as the bridge, okay? We fill that gap and the vehicle between you as a business and to the consumer that needs your services, which is true. It's probably at 1.8 billion people now. They've got the people. We've got the experiences, I should say, more than services. We've got the experiences. So by way of, we want to show up, whether it's, on the search engine, people in that dreamy state, where am I going to go to next? All of this is indexed now by the Googles of the world. So we want to be featuring in as many different touch points when our potential guests and visitors are looking, whether it's pre-planning, pre-booking, or when they're in destination and looking for local things to do. So let's look at Facebook features. Here I've got, this is what a personal profile is looking like, okay? This is the person and with my little people. So the news feed is the current view of updates from a connection. The timeline is the full view of all updates. Cover photo, profile photo. This is where we share things that are relevant to us as people, as individuals. This is not a business page. So I put this there because there still exists some confusion of like, what's the difference between this, me, and a business page. So one thing that's getting used more and more is the Facebook search feature. And this is where social media is heading, okay? It's another search engine, really, of how people are searching. People, pages, places, groups, business types, example, restaurants, hotels, and different things to do. So we've got to be mindful of filling out all of our information to completed states so that, again, when people are searching and using the Facebook search functionality to find things to do, places to eat, and to stay, that we also come up here. So the fundamental difference between a personal page and a business page, in a personal page, there's a maximum of 5,000 connections. So if you have a business page and it's saying add friend, that is not a business page, okay? You've actually created a personal page for your business. We want to stop that because you're going to hit the ceiling at 5,000 connections and there's nothing you can do there. There's no... So here, two-way interaction to connect, so it's only between two people. It's not optimized for SEO, so that search functionality and things that we put in about us is not indexed the way it is in a Facebook page, and it's private. People can't see your posts unless they're a friend, okay, as opposed to a business page. So business pages, unlimited likes, one click to connect, okay, so through the like feature. It is search optimized. There is analytics and insights. Really, I mean, just like analytics, Google Analytics, Facebook Insights gives us some great intel into how people and our community are engaged with us. And it's public, Okay, so there's no barrier between who sees our content or how we're found. Okay, so to post an update, something again, and I'm sharing with you in the short time that we have together my most frequently asked questions and things that really can confuse some business owners. So here I've just taken a screenshot of how to post an update if you're doing it live. If you go back to that post calendar of 7 days a week, a way to really give yourself a heads up of time is that you can use the pre-schedule functionality. Now this is something that you can do straight from your Facebook page, and this is taken from your, instead of hitting publish, you dongle down here and you can schedule, you can backdate, or you can save a draft. Sometimes, and I usually save a draft a lot myself, because sometimes I might start a post just so I don't forget it, or I can go back and work on it later. I'll save it as a draft. Okay, so I hope you find that useful. Video content on Facebook is still huge. So if you have not explored video, if this is something I want to encourage you to just give it a go. You don't have to go in front of the camera. You can be behind the camera. You don't even have to talk if you don't want to, but just anything with a moving image showing something interesting, of course. But you know, I always go back to, like, you're in a really, really unique part of the world. We have these incredible tools that we can use, you know, our smartphones, that can really, you know, we say pictures tell 1,000 words. There's nothing closer than actually showing a video to really bring your audience into your world. So the great thing with video is it's got the autoplay feature, and we have to be mindful that Facebook is really competing for that space and is really on the incline in terms of going head-to-head with the video that's loaded on YouTube. So let's put that in the mix. Live video demonstration is another one, and that's what I did the most recently. We were there at this is actually, even this here that I share with you, this screenshot, this was something that I did as a live demo, as a live video, live broadcast is the word I'm looking for, a live broadcast. But the beautiful thing is I'm engaging in real time when you're doing live broadcasts. The great thing is it's still uploaded into your Facebook video channel, and I've got the added benefit that I can save it on my camera roll and then can re-upload it and repurpose on the likes of YouTube. Facebook social plugins, something I always encourage you, if you are blogging or any new content that you're putting onto your website, please ensure that we're easily able to embed these plugins onto your website. So when I see something I can like, share, and even with the Messenger getting bigger and bigger now. This is going to be the next big thing, guys, for marketers with the Facebook Messenger app. So plugins to look out for, and this I've put in a link there that this is something that you will need some assistance with your website developer. Okay, the like button, send button, a comments box you might want to consider. Instead of having your own WordPress comments box, add in your Facebook comments box, again, just to drive that engagement. Activity feed, recommendations, and of course hashtag is another thing that you can use embed into your posts. It's not as popular the way that of Instagram, but we'll talk a little bit more about that on the 8th. But certainly I still use my most popular hashtags. Like for instance, for you guys, it'll be your business name and hashtag visit the Murray. Focusing on high quality content when it comes to attracting organic reach. I've given you some ideas here of 3 different ways whether it's an image, video, or just copy text. I would always encourage any post to have an image with it. Community engagement, post engagement, engagement on recent content. So these are just some metrics that you can look at your insights and have an actual, have a look at these things. How is your community engaging with your content? How many people are liking, commenting and sharing your posts? How engaging has your recent, what you've been doing up until now? How engaging is that? So always test and measure, kind of look at and say, okay, every time I do a video, I'm getting a really good return on my engagement, or, I'm getting a much larger reach on video than I am on images at the moment. It's a really good sign that that's what we should be doing more of, for example. So this is what I was talking about with the Facebook broadcast and the live stream. For any of you that might have said, what the heck is she talking about? My phone doesn't do that, or I don't do that. It is through the Facebook Pages app. You can see that. This is what a live, see here, we can share a photo, tag someone, tell them how we're feeling, or we've got this little halo over a person that could show. That's pretty much the button to do a live stream. I should have done one now so that we can, so I've got it included in a diagram there, just easily pointing out where these things are. Be very clear on the page roles. So if you are outsourcing, or if you are protective with your Facebook page, some of you might not, if you're not sure how to have access to your Facebook page, just be mindful of your page roles. And this is just a bit of a graph on the admin roles and what people can see depending on what level of access you give them, okay? Something to, again, be mindful of. I like to keep to the KISS theory when it comes to your page post. So keep it short and sweet, okay? And just some more tips there. Keep things conversational, relevant, interesting, informative, vary the format, so don't always do just images, don't always just do the one thing, okay? Mix things up. And having things outlined in a theme, from what I discussed earlier, all the different types of topics and ideas, works really, really well. Best practices, so have a look at your insights. Always, just be familiar with your insights at least. I'm not going to go too much into that, just be respectful of the time and your time. I just want to put that on your radar as a top priority, and to go back and check your insights. It's really they're a gazillion-dollar company because they've made this so user-friendly for us to use, okay? So when you go into insights and you just delve into all the different tabs, it'll just expose to you more and more. Your analytics will tell the story and give you a really good visual of what you should be doing more of and what's resonating with your audience. Something that's not used quite that much is the Facebook offers. I mean, I would just put that into your radar as well, with events, or even through your collaborations with your business community. Let's not undervalue or undermine the effectiveness of running some competitions or putting some offers on Facebook, whether it's giveaways. I did one recently for a client around AFL Grand Final. For example, it's relevant, it was timely, it's an event that everyone's talking about. So I ran on a business, on this particular client's Facebook business page, they're another tourism business, a double pass for two. Who can guess the the winner of the final and the closest margin, the person to get the closest points to, and they had to put in, they had to comment in the post, and it had to be done before kickoff, whenever it started, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it was. It was a great way to just drive engagement during that day. And we kept in touch with them, hey, Sharon, you're doing really well at the moment. It's looking like it's you. So, it's a really great way to engage your audience in something that's happening then and there, just as a tips. But, I guess this is, you are the media. It's as creative as you can get. Some things are going to work. That worked really well for me around AFL actually a few years ago now. This was back in my global ballooning days, and I've always encouraged that, or share that as an example, and also encourage you to look at other things that are happening to do the same. Messenger for business, again, I'm not going to go too much into that outside of saying that, this is really something that's been recently launched and something to be, to kind of put on our radar. But before we go into Messenger, if you haven't really been driving a really effective Facebook strategy, I would be putting your efforts into that first. I just wanted to give you a bit of a heads up into, kind of what's the latest. So be sure to adjust your settings is another one. Something that's really helped me in my business personally is I was finding, because I'm quite active in sharing information, I would find on holidays or after hours, and it recently came up in a workshop as well, that people just expect an answer straight away. So there is a functionality within your messages now, within your Facebook page, that works like an out of office. Okay, so it works like an out of office message. So I've got an automatic response that now comes to any new message that comes, and I've worded it in a way that it really looks like it's real time. So I can say, hey, thanks for your message. So it's, I'm in a more of a casual tone with my Facebook, because it's social media and we want to be social, okay? So some more around contests, and I've given more examples. Another example there of a business using AFL Grand Final, promoting your call to action. So I put that in there because I still see so many businesses not fully using this call to action button here, which I've got call now. You can do book now. That would be, if you've got an online booking system, you can do sign up if you wanted to sign up to an email address. Verifying your page, very important to verify your page. So if you do not have your page verified within the back end, and I've given you here a screenshot, if you go back into your settings, general page verification, I really want you to do that. Facebook events is another one. It's a really, really great tool to get your events out there. So if you organize any type of event for your business, or if there's a local event that you want to help promote that is also mutually beneficial to your business, why not create an event? It's like creating a mini business page within your page. Okay, so here you can, this one in particular I had done within a group, but there's nothing, again, if you create an event, that's something else you could add within, remember, your social media content mix. Allows you Facebook places. So again, this goes back to really filling out your about section in your page. So sometimes with your, sometimes from the time you had set up your page to now, things have changed. And I know myself personally, when I've set up social media accounts, in the beginning, I may not have filled them to their completed states. So it's really important that we go back and do that. Okay, be excellent. Hashtag be excellent. So be a yardstick of awesomeness. Okay, I love this quote by Steve Jobs. I'll always end with this for our trainings for this series. So be your own yardstick of quality here. Make sure you follow through on these things so that it can have impact on your business, okay? So I want to go back in and check in with you. We've got like 5 minutes of some questions, comments, feedback. Is there anything you'd like to share? Did you find that valuable? Can we have a little bit of something, a hands up maybe, if you're all a little bit shy? Jane, did you have a question? You've got your little hand up there, I can see. Did you have a question you wanted to share? No. Have we got? It looks like, gee. In the chat, did we find that valuable? Did you get a little, give me, how's this before we end? What's the one thing that you're going to do after today? Come on. What's the one thing you're going to do after today? What's been a key insight from our session today? Excellent. Thank you there, Jane. So still, it's been a great insight and taken lots of notes. Love that. So that's a really, really good way of knowing, of really ingesting new information is actually writing down. So that's great. I would give you, take some time out after now when we say goodbye to each other and just go through your notes and pluck out what are actions I'm going to take from this. Thank you, Jane. That is awesome. Okay, thank you to everyone for showing. If there's no other questions, comments, please note down the 8th of December, which is another Thursday at 1 o'clock. We're going to be talking Instagram and the really important information. And I've literally, for the Instagram training, what I've done is I've really given you screenshots step by step of how to create a like campaign. Okay, so how to increase your community following with a targeted audience to follow your to follow that wonderful content that you're going to put together from now on. Okay, well, if that's all, thank you to all of you for coming, for joining us today. I will really look forward to seeing you again on the 8th of December. I will share this recording and I will also be sending the slides for you to have as your reference as well. Okay. So thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of the day and rest of the month. Until the 8th, we will meet again, my friends. Okay. Happy days. Bye for now.